Time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Get the best blankets and gifts ever. Save 50% off at Miki Couture with the promo code ZONE50. Shop online at MikiCouture.com or visit any of their 6 locations. And let me tell you, that Zone50, that's the best deal in town.
That's the ticket.
You're welcome. Zone50, Miki Couture, and you're going to win Christmas. I know it's not supposed to be a competition, but you can take home the W. Don't worry about it.
Yes.
Do you view that as a competition with you and your spouse?
Yes.
Do you really?
Everything is.
Oh.
If you're not competing, you're falling behind.
I definitely do not.
No, of course not.
But I am not a very good gift giver, so that might be one of those can't win, don't try kind of things.
No, I try and give a good Christmas. Do my best. Hope everyone has a good time. And you will with a Minky.
Time for the top 3 stories of the day. KSLSports.com, brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love for J. Brooks with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. Speaking of winning Christmas, hint, hint. Christian, where are we starting today?
Number 1, you guys had a great conversation with Christian Cox yesterday talking about Kyle Whittingham and Morgan Scalley in the Utah football program. But what is next for Kyle Whittingham after stepping down?
Not retirement.
Not flat-out retirement, not a commitment to retirement. That doesn't mean that couldn't be the pathway. But again, this Michigan job keeps getting brought up. I think it has more to do with the fact that these stories are so close together. Sharon Moore going to jail, potentially, and Kyle Whittingham becoming a free man in the coaching search is probably more the reason why Whitt's a candidate. But look, Michigan is finding itself in an emergency situation, and they are not going to be able to pick what most seasons would be a highly sought-after job with highly sought-after coaches. Now, Whitt is a great coach, and if Whitt ends up being the safety net, it's actually one of the better safety nets, but I don't think anybody they hired this year is going to be the guy who's going to be the coach 3 years from now. Now, for Kyle Whittingham, he might say, great, I don't want to be coaching 3 years from now. Let me go, spend 2 years at Michigan trying to win and seeing what level I can win at. And what if I do exceed expectations even for myself and I enjoy it? Maybe I will coach until I'm 70. And make another, $8 to $10 million a year if things are going well. What I would hate to see is Michigan to leverage Whitt against other guys and dangle him without, I don't want to say him recognizing because he's a smart person. I'm not trying to make it sound like he's a senile guy who doesn't know what's happening or how he would be manipulated. But I would hate to see Whitt's name floated out there if the team doesn't have any actual interest in him and is only doing it to force the hand of a younger coach or a different coach to accept the job.
All right. I mean, I don't care if he leverages or who leverages what. If Dilly squeezes $2 million more out of Michigan because Kyle Whittingham's agent or something floats. I mean, I honestly don't care about that. I don't think that Coach Whitt should even consider that job, nor do I think they should even consider Coach Whitt. And I actually think it's the reason Dilly shouldn't consider going to Michigan either, although it's a little less with him because of his age.
Yeah.
But Whitt knows how to win at Utah. His formula works at Utah. Dilly knows how to win at Arizona State because he's an Arizona State guy and he knows how to win there. He's leaned into the heat, all this stuff that other coaches have been scared to do because Phoenix is a unique place. The difference is that Dilly is a young man who is smart and ambitious and probably willing to play the game. Yeah. Does that make any sense? Whitt is in the I don't give a what phase of his career, which he's more than earned. Does he really want to take a high-profile, high-pressure job that you probably have to compromise your moral integrity to do, where you really don't have a ton of say because there are other big-time factors in your employment, and you've probably got a whole program you have to overhaul, so it's a big job that would probably take some time. And I don't think the Michigan Wolverine fans are willing to give much time. So for Whitt, I wouldn't consider it. For Michigan, I certainly wouldn't consider it. I'm going to hire an older, conservative, and I'm not talking politically, I'm talking like lifestyle. I have no idea what Whitt's politics are, nor do I think they're relevant.
Yeah.
But he's a conservative dude that rides his Huffy to practice or whatever. I mean, he's not he's certainly not Sharon Moore, but he's He's kind of a white picket fence kind of dude.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think they should be looking for a conservative white picket fence kind of, I don't give a what, I'm in the, I'm going to like this job phase of my life. I don't think that's what they need either.
So what do they need?
They need somebody like Dilly. They do. They need young, ambitious, and willing to do what it takes to win at all costs because everything is on the line for them. Their career is on the line. Picture Urban when he went to Florida. I think that's, at this late stage in the game, I think that's the kind of person. Or else hire internal, hire a Michigan man who's just going to cheat his backside off.
Yeah.
It's one of those two. I don't think you hire the straight arrow, long-time coach from Utah. I don't think that works.
They just missed what was a potentially pretty good window. Despite the fact that this was a great seller's market if you were a coach. If you were a coach, it was a great time to be on the market, renegotiating your contract or trying to leave. And Lane Kiffin took advantage of it, and Kurt Signetti took advantage of it. Coaches all over the country took advantage of it. Nebraska's head coach took advantage of it. Like, getting all these deals restructured to get more money was great, or you leave and you take a bigger job at Florida or at LSU to get paid. This was a really good year to be those guys, particularly. It wasn't like there was a bunch of great coaches that were on the move. That did not actually happen this season. And Michigan even missed that window that closed really quickly. So they're already picking between fewer teams. And Michigan, is on par with Florida and with LSU as far as quality of jobs go. And those jobs didn't go to, I guess, the cream of the crop of college football coaches that were available, maybe outside of Lane Kiffin. So they're already fighting with one hand behind their back. And then they're trying to do it after the process has essentially ended. So if they could pull a Dillingham, that would be absolutely pulling an ace. I think that would be a superb hire if you could lure him away. And maybe they can just simply because it's Michigan. I just don't know if they're going to get that quality of coach.
Well, I'll tell you what. Mark Harlan, though, has now become Bill Belichick.
In what way?
Bill Belichick said goodbye to Tom Brady when he still had gas left in the tank. And so Bill was left on the sideline cheering against Tom Brady in the Super Bowl because it was going to reflect poorly on Bill. If Kyle has something in the tank and goes anywhere and truly succeeds
and wins,
it's not going to look good. It's not going to make Mark Harlan look good. Now, Morgan has a lot to do with that. If Morgan succeeds, then all of a sudden it becomes a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But if it goes like the Patriots and Belichick went, where all of a sudden they were on the fast train to Sucktown, and Tom Brady was still winning Super Bowls, that's a bad look. That's how a legend like Bill Belichick gets fired in New England.
It is very safe to say that while we don't know exactly why Witt left Utah when he didn't do it because he was done with coaching entirely.
Yep.
So was he forced out? I don't know. Was he done with Utah? I don't know. Did Mark Harlan ask him to leave? I don't know. Did Boosters ask him to leave? I don't know. I've heard a lot of things. But regardless, this wasn't a guy who said, well, I've run my race and I'm done and I'm excited to enter retirement and slow my life down. That's not what we've heard about Kyle Whittingham or from Kyle Whittingham in the slightest. So yes, that does leave the door open for him to go have success elsewhere. And if that does happen, it's not going to look good for Mark Harlan. Which
isn't a good relationship to have with your legendary coach, in my opinion. It's why you deal with these things sensitively and let some of these coaches make their own decisions. But the impression I get is that at least Kyle would be willing to be still at Utah. That's the impression I get. I don't want to report anything because I haven't talked to anybody with the last name Whittingham or anything. But if he's got gas left in the tank,
yep.
And Utah was willing to, I don't know,
welcome him back.
Yeah, welcome him back. I think he'd be back.
I agree.
So now they're in a really awkward position where they're cheering against their legend.
Not fun.
I hope for Witt, and I don't know. I think him going into the NFL and landing like a linebacker spot with the Chiefs or something like that, I think that'd be pretty dang cool. And actually, you can be in your I don't give a what phase and be a position coach in the NFL where you're actually coaching and you're not recruiting. You're still making a nice salary, but it's not your neck on the line. But I don't know. Coaches have big egos, and I'm sure Coach Witt would be eager to prove that he's still got something left.
No question.
Yeah. All right, next.
Number 2, the Utah Mammoth on an East Coast road trip, playing at Boston tonight, trying to make it 3 wins in a row.
Yeah, got to continue to take steps in the right direction, winning back-to-back the way they did, pretty dominant or not dominant, but confident and comfortable win over the Kraken, and then the major comeback against the Penguins in their last outing. Yeah, go out there and get a third. That's how you lace together, what was it, a 7, 8, 9 win streak and put yourself very firmly back into the playoff spot.
Cole Bagley is going to join us to talk all about it coming up at the top of the 11 o'clock hour.
Great.
So it's 11:30.
The bottom of the 11 o'clock hour.
11:30, Cole Bagley will be on the show, and we'll ask him about the mighty Boston Bruins, who currently, Ben, are sitting on 38 points. So pretty good. Next.
Number 3, breaking news out of Ogden this morning. Weber State has their next head coach.
Eric Kjar is taking the job, leaving Corner Canyon, which Corner Canyon has turned into one of the premier high school programs, not just in the state, but in the entire country. He's had several NFL quarterbacks come through his high school, and now he tries to do it at Weber State.
I'm eager. I like kind of, I don't know if you want to call hiring a high school coach out of the box, because it certainly has happened before. But I like some out of the box thinking, and maybe going to a high school guy with some success who can bring a different philosophy in, because I do think there are talented coaches who coach high school and don't make the millions of dollars. So it's cool to see, them get an opportunity. The thing is, though, Ben, is that coaching in college and coaching in high school are so different. And he could have the best schemes on the planet. If you don't get the players, it doesn't matter. And in college, you have to figure out how to go out and get players. And I'm sure he's developed a plan and told Weber State how they're going to do that. But to say it and do it are a couple of different things. He can boast about a couple of NFL quarterbacks, which I'm sure will help him, but it's still a completely different animal. So I like that Weber hired a guy that has a ton of potential, and I'm eager to see if it works.
I hope they give him some time, because it's a different animal that he's tackling at Weber State than he had at Corner Canyon, but clearly he does have an eye for talent and can put up some big offenses. So we'll see if that's able to work, but it's an unusual path. You don't see a lot of high school head coaches jump immediately to college head coach, regardless of the level. You see guys take position coaching jobs. You see guys, test the water, find their way in, and then move up that way. But to jump from, the number one guy in high school to the number one team in college is a pretty massive leap. So we will see. Just knowing football, do it. Troy Taylor worked his way up to becoming the head coach of Stanford after being a high school head coach, and then going to the FCS level as a coordinator, et cetera, up the list. We'll see if Eric Kjar can do better.
What's next? Oh, that's it. There you go. That's
Fourth
number 3.
story
Sorry
at
about that.
KSLSports.com.
All right. Well, I'll get to more coming up next. Jake and Ben. All right. Let's give away Jazz tickets. It's Jazz Ticket Tuesday. Caller number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. We're going to hook you up with a pair of tickets to go see the Jazz and the Magic coming up on Saturday, December the 20th at Delta Center. The tip-off for that one will be at 7:30. Caller number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. Stay tuned. More next. 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.